truly wonderful series, Business and Leadership Stories, with me, Hrishi K. Now, Sachin Bhandary from the Story Co. is helping companies, startups, and professionals break the culture of MBA speak, use the power of stories to achieve business goals with speed and ease. He and his partner Ranjani do that via coaching, consulting, as well as training. Now, if you remember all the epics of yore, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, or films, or popular culture stories, we have no problem at all remembering them. But if it's something more mundane, like a business presentation, we end up saying, do I really remember that one? That's because stories are a hack into the human brain and we really need to use more of them. Sachin, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing really good, Rishi.
This is really fascinating. I mean, we're going to talk about a small nugget, a story about Uber. Uber,
Right.
to a lot of people, is not just a cab hailing app, but is an investment company. And the story exemplifies that.
Yes, that's right, Rishi. I remember reading this interesting story by John Russell. He used to write for this publication called The Ken. And he said why Uber is not a ride-hailing app. It's actually an investment company. I found that really fascinating. Read the entire story. So what I realized by reading the story is that Uber actually owns a certain amount of stake in Zomato, which I think probably is up to 10% if I'm not wrong. And that was the time that Zomato was going to get listed, that IPO was going to come out. Not just in India, if you look at their business in China, they've actually had to exit the country, and when they exited the country, they sold off their businesses, sold off their business to Didi, and and they have a stake in that company too. They have a stake in a company, a very super successful commonplace app called Grab in Indonesia. Something similar happened over there also. They probably either invested directly in the company or exited that country, because at some point I think they decided they will not focus on Uber Eats. They will only focus on the ride hailing business. Now, all of these investments put together are I mean, at least at the time the story was written, it was close to 14 billion, 11.4 billion dollars at that point in time. Now that was super interesting to me. 11.4 billion dollars just by the stake that they held in these three companies. So what I did is that I went back and I checked their revenues for Asia Pacific from one of the websites for the past 3 years when the story was written. And the revenue, can you guess how much the revenue would be for
I
3 years
can't,
in Asia?
I can't fathom.
Yeah, their revenue for the past 3 years at that point in time from Asia Pacific, the same region where they have these investments, was only $3.7 billion. So almost what, one fourth or something to
Wow.
that effect. So one fourth of what Uber makes is from the revenue for the past 3 years, but the investment itself is multifolds of that. And that story gave me a very important message. And that message is that you can make your money by doing what you do all the time. That's no problem. But if you really want to build wealth, it is about time that you start investing. And that holds true for us, each of us at our individual levels, also for families as well, right? You can make your money from whatever you do. It'll give you a kickstart and help you pay the bills and all of that. But you want to make wealth, start taking investing seriously.
Absolutely. Now, those stories, anything that Sachin puts out, don't you think it's just a story? Because from it stems some valuable communication tips. So put your finger on it. What will be the communication tip for today?
What I did with this particular story was there was some kind of data which I already had, which is what John Russell wrote about. I actually went back and saw if I could compare this data with something else. So I took the investment angle, compared it with revenue, and I got this beautiful narrative that investment is just one fourth of actual, revenue is one fourth of the actual revenue investment that Uber has in Asia Pacific. And that helped me build the story or give you the message that you can make money from working hard, from doing what you do, but to build wealth, you have to start investing. So one communication tip for today for all our listeners is that look at contrasts. Try to pick up whenever you have a particular point to make, try to see if you can have something parallel which will highlight the point that you want to make. So let's say you want to talk something about work. Can you contrast it with a football story? You want to talk about a team. Can you contrast it with a Indian cricket team? Stuff like that, right? Whatever point that you want to make, can you use a contrasting example so that your point gets highlighted and you're able to deliver your message more effectively? So contrasting is today's communication tip.
Incredible. Sachin Bhandary, the business story coach and trainer, where are you available? If you want to reach out to you and also read your wonderful blog, which is Win with Stories.
That's right, Hrishi. Whoever's interested in learning more about business storytelling to make their communication simple, clear, and compelling, can connect with me on LinkedIn. I write pretty regularly on that platform. They can look for me with Sachin Bhandary. Sachin is easy. Bhandary is Bhandary, not I. And they can connect with me. And on my profile page on LinkedIn, they will find the link to Win with Stories, which is a newsletter where I share a short story and also share a communication tip that they can start using instantly in their communication.
Wonderful. I'm going to see you next time. Cheers.
Look forward, Hrishi. Look forward. Thank you.
One world, your station.